ISIS has had success recruiting Western fighters with slickly produced videos online and putting out images like this one, showing its fighters in action on the battlefield, all in these highly produced videos. In fact, all we really see are ISIS victory videos. But where are the videos of ISIS defeats? And in a war of images, are Western nations losing the battle with ISIS online? Earlier, I spoke with Martha Pease, brand expert and CEO of DemandWorks.com, also with Bob Baer, former CIA operative. Martha told us what the U.S. should be doing to win the battle of these images.
ISIS has created a really successful brand. And a brand is an emotional connection with people. And when you make a connection, you can scale that connection. And ISIS has been really effective at using propaganda to move their brand along and to continue to expand their footprint. In the face of a successful brand where people are looking at ISIS as a winner, I mean, there really needs to be an alternative narrative put out there. Where are the images of ISIS losing? Where are the images of setbacks actually being placed in their path as they move forward? I think there's a real void in the narrative out there of the public perception.
But do you think that when it comes to most people, right, those that aren't attracted to what ISIS does, which is the majority of people, when they put videos out of these horrific beheadings, for example, aren't they in a sense only digging their own grave? Aren't they in a sense only turning us away we have such an aversion to seeing that.
Right. I think you're absolutely right. For the majority of the people in the world, it's an awful image and it's an awful brand. But that's not who they're talking to.
Right.
They're targeting the mostly young men. I mean, if you think in France, 40% of the young Muslim men in France are unemployed. That's a perfect target audience for
someone who feels disenfranchised.
Disenfranchised. They see winning. They see domination. They see success, and you know that's a logical magnet for some of those people to turn to. And what from a marketing and branding perspective, what can start to put some boundaries on that is an alternative set of images and an alternative to that brand story, really.
It's an interesting point, Bob, when it comes to a national security perspective, right? So much of what is done in the CIA, your former CIA, we never know about. So does it bring up the issue of a major national security question, our tactics, et cetera, if the U.S. starts putting out images of how it had, I mean, they put out some satellite images, but really more graphic images of defeats of ISIS?
We also, as an open society, provide most of the propaganda for the Islamic State. You look at the images from Abu Ghraib, you know, even the WikiLeaks when they're firing rockets at targets in Iraq, and those are replayed and replayed and replayed. And for an uneducated group of people like the people that live in the slums around Paris, all they can do is identify with Islam and that we are oppressing Muslims. And that's the message that the Islamic State is riding on, and I agree, they are winning.
So to Bob's point, Martha, what should be put out?
Yeah, Bob makes a very good point. I do really question, from a brand building perspective, whether or not there's something that can be done effectively to at least broaden the attitude toward the position of ISIS.
And it's such an important point, given how many people now are radicalized and even trained online through these videos. They don't need to travel to Yemen to get this training and to carry out these horrific attacks. Martha, thank you. Appreciate it. Bob Baer, thank you as well.